Hi, and welcome to the Red Bra Project. We are here with our guest today, Rebecca Fabick. We're so excited to introduce you to her. But first of all, you may be looking at the screen
How are we next to each other?
It just so crazily worked out that we're both in beautiful Phoenix. So no complaints.
No, not at all. We're so excited that one, we have Rebecca here, and two, that she gets to be here for our first side-by-side show. This is amazing. So surprise viewers, we are only 2 screens tonight.
Yes, so we're so excited to introduce Rebecca to you and have her share her story. And I will say that she's coming to us from Milan, Italy this morning. So Rebecca, welcome, and please just jump in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, girl.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And a little about myself. Okay, so yes, I live in Milan right now, but I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, the Midwest.
Which none of us are in right now.
Yeah, none of us are in.
But no, very well.
Yes, exactly. But actually, I'm here to tell my story, and I'm so excited. And I'll give you a little recap of kind of how I ended up in Milan, maybe first.
Perfect.
So about a year and a half ago, I ran across this program, or maybe even 2 years ago, I ran across this program in Milan for fashion management. It was a master's in fashion management, and I was just finishing up my schooling at Ole Miss, the University of Mississippi. And y'all, I had a calling, and I don't know what it was. I was like, I'm meant to go to Milan and do this master's in fashion management. I didn't understand it, but I was like, it's right. This is right for me. So yeah, I applied to the school. I got in. Everything was settled. And then all of a sudden, I'm moving halfway across the world by myself. And in that moment, I am like, what the heck did I sign up for? I was like, oh my gosh. It was really rough transition for me at first. But everything really just worked out for me. And, I did the program, and then I got a job. I got a job at a boutique fashion magazine here in Milan, where I work. I wrote fashion articles and about brand collections and brand stories and that kind of fun stuff. And I did that for about 9 months. And then all of a sudden I had another calling come up, and I was just like, okay, here we go. Another calling. What's this leap going to be? And it was just like, I need to quit my job and, launch my own blog with my own story. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I've had this calling for some time to start releasing my story and start releasing my writing and stuff. And I was nervous. I'm going to be honest. I was really nervous because I was like, I don't know what that's going to look like. And it's very personal and a lot goes on. And I don't know how my family will feel about it. But you know what? I just had to follow the call because I felt like if I didn't, I couldn't not. I had the call, so I followed it. So end of February this year, I quit my job. I gave him 2 weeks notice and I quit my job. And I was like, okay, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden I ran into Marie Forleo. I'm not sure if you know Marie Forleo, her course, B School. And I signed up for B School. And this course just really helped me to start launching my website, launching my writing. And I'm still in it and I'm still doing it, but it really helped me get my ideas out there and moving. And then now I've been doing the Blue Empath blog for about 2 months now. So yeah, I'm so excited. So you can find my blog at theblueempath.com. And what it is you can read about my story and the journey back to myself and all kinds of personal things that happened to me and how I made it from anger, resentment, hurt, and the feeling of abandonment to turning that all around, working on myself, healing myself, and turning it all around to having gratitude for my situation, having gratitude for my family, and turning my grief into just gratitude for my sister being here. So that's kind of just a quick recap. Do you want me to go into my story next, or?
I'm just amazed that you were like, I was angry at one point. Like, you were like the happiest, just like ball of energy. Like, I mean, I know it's like 6 a.m. here, but even still, like, it just, you have so much like enthusiasm. And so we know your story, and obviously we want you to share a little bit more, but to know where you've been and just how excited and happy and, like you said, just grateful for everything. It's so inspiring. And you just quit your job. And I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to kind of get into the little thoughts that you had along the process, but I'm going to back up just a little bit because I felt like I had 5 questions.
I know. I was like, wow.
Wait. So first of all, when you talk about, what you decided to do with your school, and then when you graduated, and then going into the boutique fashion company and writing and things, it just sounds like a dream come true for a young 20-something, or anybody for that matter. I mean, you're over in Italy. Yeah. You're like, wait a minute, should be so amazing. But you listened to your gut, clearly. And we'll talk more. I'm so curious to know how you knew that was actually the voice you were supposed to, or nudge you were supposed to listen to. But that's impressive. But then when you say you ran into Marie Forleo, did you literally run into her, or did you discover her?
I discovered the program. I had been following Gabby Bernstein for quite some time before and reading her books, and got so into Gabby Bernstein. And then all of a sudden, Gabby Bernstein, through Gabby, I found Marie Forleo's program. And I was just like, this is for me. This is what I want. I'm an entrepreneur and I know it. So that's kind of what happened.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So you kind of talked about, going through all of that and things. So what I guess made you realize that you had some stuff to deal with and that you wanted to deal with it head on?
Okay. Well, what made me realize was my physical health really started to deteriorate. All of a sudden, I was having all this acid reflux. I was having stomach problems. I had to have an endoscopy. I was having all these problems within my body. And I was just like, what is going on? I've been so healthy and thriving. And then all this stuff happened, and, and then I was stuck in this bad situation. All of a sudden, my health was just really bad. I just felt like I was kind of drowning underwater, and I felt like I could not get like a breath of air. And I was just like, what is going on? And so my health just started, kept kind of plummeting. And I was just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I need a change. And that's where it came from. Like I said that I need a change. I need to get better. And that's my physical health. That's what I focused on first. And that's when I was led to, I was kind of led back to God. And because I kind of lost God along my path a little bit. So I was kind of going back to church, and I was just getting these things of what I need to do for my health. I was led to different practitioners. I was led to different naturopaths to help me along my path. So that's kind of where it started, what made me that first like recognition, the first step of like, okay, I need help because my health isn't the best right now. So that's where it started.
Wow. I just think about, like, even when we're launching this and when we're trying to do the Red Bra Project, I'm like, maybe I just need to take some time and do it and not work full time. And because we both really believe in this so much. So how did you push past the fear of being like, I live in Milan, I'm just going to quit my job and start, you're like, I'm going to share my story. And what part of you was like, my story needs to be heard because it's going to help others? Like, how did you know that?
Well, the first thing, how do you push through fear? The way that I pushed through my fear was just knowing that if I'm scared of something, that means there's the most potential growth for me. So if I'm scared of something, that means that's the exact thing I need to be doing. And then I kind of slowly start to sit with that fear. And I kind of start to just sit there and meditate with the fear. And I slowly start to pick it apart and be like, wow, this fear is not even real. It's like an illusion that I made up in my own mind. Okay. It's not even real.
Did it take you a while to get to that point when did you have to kind of convince yourself of that, or how? I mean, really, or did you roll over and you're like, yep, that's not real. You're fake.
No, that takes years of training my mind. And that took years of just getting really in tune with my intuition. Honestly, that took about 4 years of good, hard, just like, I became like a Reiki practitioner, working with my intuition, getting in tune with myself, it took, yeah, a good 4 years of like reworking that dialogue with myself of, okay, that's fear. Okay. That's love, you know, deciding between the two. So no, that takes time of getting into a healing path. And I think starting to look at your thoughts more.
Okay. Yeah. Because, you know, it sounds like it's just like, oh yeah, I decided it's just,
right.
You know, but that's good to know that it actually takes time. So
oh, it took time.
Keep working at it.
Tomorrow I might still be fearful. Good.
Do you, the sun's coming over. Do you want to come
oh,
over a little
I'm
closer?
fine.
Are you sure?
There we go. Now I'm in the shot.
Okay. But do y'all want me to kind of talk about my story a little bit more, or?
If you want to kind of jump into there, I know you have gone through an incredible healing process. And
yeah, just so people know where I'm kind of coming from through this, like, I keep saying 4 years, 4.5 years, kind of like what really started it and everything. Okay, so my story from the beginning, or what I call like my spiritual awakening, really started when my sister, Helen, passed away on February 8th, 2014. She passed away from an accidental opioid overdose, which is very rampant in the US right now and very sad. But that's where my whole spiritual awakening really started from there. And then a month later, my family really fell apart. You know, my dad and I got some texts on my phone from my dad between him and someone else. My parents ended up getting divorced, and it was a very hard situation for all of us. My parents just lost a child. I just lost my sister. And then a month later, they're getting a divorce. I mean, there was a lot going on in our family. Our family was in a complete upheaval. Okay. And everyone was just sad, hurt. We were all maybe a little lost. We didn't really know what to do. So it was just a very hard time for all of us. And when I reflect on that hard time is really where I learned the most. So kind of that next year was difficult. For the first year after a death is very difficult for everyone. It's the first of everything. All the first summer without her, or the Thanksgiving without her and everything, right? Plus our family was falling apart, and the divorce and everything. And after that, I just became very angry with my dad and resentful towards my dad first. And then later, like probably 4 months later, then it was my mom. Okay, so then I was angry and resentful towards both my parents because I couldn't understand where they were coming from. I couldn't understand because they both jumped into other dating lives so soon, I felt like. And I just had a really hard time of understanding, like, I didn't understand where I fit into the picture. I felt like I lost my family, my footing and everything. So our first natural instinct is anger. Okay. It's anger, it's resentment. They are the problem. So that's where I was. And then, a few months later, I'm just kind of stuck in this story, y'all. I'm stuck in this story of it's their problem. It's their problem. I'm just, what am I doing here? I was just stuck in this anger that was really just starting to eat me from the inside out. And I kind of hid from it. I made myself really busy in school. I was president of my sorority at the time. I hid myself in my work. So I threw myself into my work, and not knowing that this anger and resentment I had was actually eating at me and starting to spill into my other relationships. And then about a year later, after all of this had happened and everything, I was just like, that's when my health really started deteriorating. Even before a year, it was 6 months. Mm-hmm. It was probably 6 months to a year. And I was just like, oh my gosh, my health is deteriorating. I need help now. Something is going on and it's not right. And then I started going to a therapist. I was like, I need help. So I got myself a therapist, or my family got me a therapist. And that's where I really started to learn that, okay, this anger and resentment I have towards my parents, towards like what I felt like they should have or shouldn't have done, was eating at me. And really under that anger was fear, sadness, and abandonment. And this kind of changed my way of thinking, that under those emotions are the real emotions, okay? That feeling of abandonment and that feeling of sadness and that feeling of fear of what's going to happen to me and what's going to happen to my family. So from there, the therapist really helped me to start working through that. And I really started to learn how to communicate this to my parents and communicate, okay, well, what you did really made me feel sad. It really made me feel abandoned. You know, I had to tell my dad, you know, when you walked out, I felt like you were walking out on me. Even though that's not what happened, I actually turned my back on my dad. I had to say this and get it out and start working through it one by one. And, you know, sometimes we like to go hide from the work we need to do, but the only way through healing is to just go through it. Okay, we got to look at it and we have to sit with it and we have to be like, oh, okay, what are these emotions? What is really going on? So that's what I started to do. And from there, I just really started a spiritual practice of recognizing my feelings, telling people how I really felt. And I just want to tell anyone out there who is going through this or maybe starting to do this that it's okay. It's a scary place to be because, you know, at first I was like, I didn't know how to identify with my feelings because I had spent years of my life shoving my real feelings down, shoving my sadness down, shoving my abandonment down or my fear. So, and you know, and having to bring all that up after years and years of shoving it all down, because I'm a very sensitive person, I'm an empath. So having to bring all that back up and look at it and then be like, and then tell people, I was scared. I was very, very scared. But the second I started doing it, everything became better. Okay. When I started communicating my feelings, everything became better. And then, so that's what kind of happened. And then I got into a spiritual practice. And then, you know, I picked up on crystals and I got certified in Reiki and I had different naturopaths and people helping me kind of, just heal this anger and resentment and then turn it into love. Like, and well, first, before you get to the love, you have to go through forgiveness. Okay. So it's about, that's like what I've been going through for the past 4.5 years is that healing to forgiveness. Forgiving my parents, forgiving my dad, forgiving my mom for what I felt like they did or didn't do, forgiving myself for what I felt like I didn't do or did do. And that was kind of what started all of this and what's been happening for about the 4.5 years. And what's happened is after I took care of all those emotions and I got to talk to my dad and we got to talk it out, you know, our relationship has slowly started to get better, you know, and now we're into a spot where we both have so much gratitude for each other and for what we've been through. And, you know, I'm not going to say it's easy.
Because that was one of my questions is like, what you share is so personal and you've gone through so much with your family. Are they supportive in what you're doing? And
yes. Yeah. I get this question all the time. Yes. Before I even launched the website, I sent it to my mom, my dad, and my brother. So they all reviewed the whole website, my story and everything before I put it all out there. And I got the good to go from all of them. So they kind of helped me along the way a little bit.
That has to feel incredible just to put that out to the people. Yeah. Such a big part of your journey and forgiveness and anger and grief and everything. And they're like, yes, go, we support you.
Yes, it was so, and you know, sometimes when I write my articles, they'll come back to me and say, hey, I didn't really love this part. Can we fix it? And we work together and fix it to what we feel like is best for both of us. You know, that's happened once now. So, it's about coming together and just communicating. It's that communication we've been working on for about 4.5 years now. Yeah. So it's paying off.
Communication can be tough and you can go through phases where it's really great and then other times when it needs a lot of work. It's just, depends what each individual is going through. It can be it's interesting.
Exactly.
What's so incredible is that you were doing this to help you, but along the way, you have probably really helped them develop these coping skills that they also needed. Because I think you kind of all were in this turmoil that nobody was really addressing. And so you taking that step has impacted your whole family.
Exactly. And it's still impacting, you know, this healing thing. I tell people all the time, I'm like, it's never done. It's a constant process. It's an everyday thing of that I have to wake up and choose. I choose forgiveness. I choose love and choosing gratitude for the situation and not getting stuck in those old stories. Right. So it's a continuous thing that we all have to do and we all have to lean on each other for.
Yeah, and I mean, just thinking about the timing that you found the strength to do all of this when you're going through, your whole family is grieving the loss of your sister, and then
Uh-huh.
anything could have happened during that time. It's such a sensitive time, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's so amazing that you had the strength to do that. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm just blessed that I got the strength to do it. And I'm blessed to have found this path. And I'm so grateful for it.
We're grateful for you. We're grateful that you reached out and you wanted to share with us. That's exactly what we're hoping, that we're trying to inspire here. And so when we read your story, it was like, absolutely, Rebecca needs to be a part of this. So
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited.
So I would feel like, and I don't want to answer for you, but I mean, everything you've shared with us, I mean, we talk about the red bra moments here and there, and they're a very wide range, from small things to large things. What would you say is a red bra moment for you?
I think a red bra moment for me was
All of it?
but I think it's really at the beginning, because, after right now it's a lot easier. At the beginning, I mean, having to make those first choices, honestly, I think the red bra moment was asking for help. Okay, that was the biggest thing I could have done for myself, was saying, I need help. Universe, I need help. Please send me someone.
Yeah.
And I ended up with an amazing therapist. So honestly, I think that's because that's where it all started. My therapy, and that's where I learned how to communicate, and it just catapulted this whole spiritual journey. So I think that's my moment. It's nothing too big. It's just asking for help. But honestly,
that first step, like, it gives me goosebumps.
Right.
I'm like, I just to take.
Yeah, and I appreciate the authentic answer. Like that was your real moment. Like, all of this is great and has come from that, but it wouldn't be there if you didn't ask for help.
Exactly. And I wasn't one to ask for help. Okay. I was always trying to help other people, and me finally stepping up and saying, hello, okay, I need help, was like, that was a breakthrough for me. Yeah. So that's my moment.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
So real quick, I just want to ask you, you kind of talked about it a couple times throughout the beginning and your story, and you followed these nudges and intuition. So what is one thing that you can give somebody when they're like, well, how do you know if that's the right thing to follow? I mean, how do you know?
Yeah. How do you know? I used to ask myself this I used to ask myself that all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I don't know. What is what? But the way I've learned is that when we are leaning towards our truth, and we are leaning towards our true highest power and intuition, we're leaning towards love, and it feels good. When you sit with it, it feels better. When I'm leaning towards fear, or I'm out of my intuition, okay, I feel my heart starts racing really bad. I get kind of panicky, and I get, oh my gosh, I have to do this all on my own. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. I can't do this. But when I lean towards my intuition and my truth and my love, I feel I am supported. I am loved. God is here for me, and I will be guided to what to say, what to do, and everything. So I think that's the true difference between the intuition and the love versus the ego and the fear, is it feels better. And the ego and the fear is going to try to trick you. It's usually the loudest voice. Okay, it's going to be louder, and it's going to be more like, well, you can't do that. No, you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to have a good relationship with your parents. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve to go to Milan. It'll be like that. Or you're not smart enough. Those are all the lower thoughts. Those are not out of love. When we come into love, it's, I deserve this. I am worthy, and I trust myself, and I am supported. So that's kind of the two differences. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, it's perfect. And we end like every show with a quote, and this quote is like so in line with what you just said. It's one of your favorite authors, Gabby Bernstein. And when we fulfill our function, which is to truly love ourselves and share love with others, then true happiness sets in. I'm willing to see things differently, and I'm willing to see love. I mean, it's like everything you just said. You and Gabby need a partner, so we'll hook that up for you.
Is beautiful. Oh, I have goosebumps right now. I'm on the verge of tears. I love that.
We're giving you a group hug. It's been so awesome, Rebecca, and I know that we're going to be longtime friends, and we say this often, but I truly feel like we're going to meet up with all of our guests one day.
Please, I would love to be, seriously.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon, morning.
Whatever time of day it is for you.
Sharing your vulnerable story and your journey and your healing. It's incredible. And for all of our viewers out there watching the replay and who are a part of the Red Bra Project, following us, this story is incredible. So if it impacted you, please feel if you feel like somebody can need it, share it with them, because that's what it's all about. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Rebecca found us through all of our social media, and we hope the same for you guys. So please like this post, hit the subscribe bell, you know the drill. We're so excited to keep featuring amazing women like you. And we look forward to following your journey, and we will link everything up on our Instagram page so you guys can read and follow what we know is going to be an even more incredible journey for you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all the love and the gratitude and being so supportive of my journey and everything. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. It's been beautiful. Y'all's energy is beautiful. And I can't wait to see more shows from y'all. I'm so excited.
Thank you. We can't wait to read more of your posts. I know. The feeling is mutual.
Yes. All right. Well, have a good night or morning.
Yeah, whatever it is.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.